Hey guys, welcome back, it's Meg. Today we are going to be running a 20 Fortified Azure Vault. This is our first pull, it is also our last pull. The big things here are we are going to pop GG, and we are also going to pop our Shocking Potion of Disclosure. It's mostly spin to win at this point because we have a Prot Warrior tank. However, if casts get off like the Mystic Vapors, or if people are getting hit by the Piercing Shard Frontal from the Furies, then you're going to have a lot more healing to do. So your main focus here is to do damage and also keep an eye on your tank. Usually Cocoon can go on the tank for these piercing shards because they're unavoidable, but a lot of it is going just to be maintenance healing as well as doing as much damage as you can while contributing to stops on the Lashers and the Furies. If you're a Blood Elf, you can also work on using Arcane Torrent to dispel the Furies, as they have like a Enrage type ability that can be magic dispelled. There are more Lashers in this pack just as there were in the previous one, and something fun about them with the Mystic Vapors, if they do end up getting off, you can actually diffuse them back for damage and all of the stacks will be diffused. Does quite a bit, so even at like 2 stacks it's definitely worth diffusing before reviving or just healing through the rest of it for the rest of the party. These packs are kind of annoying, mainly just because you're not really going to be in melee at all because of the sappy bursts as the little guys die. Once you have all 3 trees, you can kind of plant and adjust your Phaline as you need, but most of the time I'm using Phaline here is just to trigger Ancient Teachings. I will fish for a reset, but if I don't get one, then it's kind of whatever. You can just use Essence Fawn for Ancient Teachings at that point, but there is a lot of ground effects going on here, so make sure that you are dodging them. The puddles will tick for way more than you expect, and it also ticks instantly, and they also go underneath your Phaline, so if you do have it placed, make sure you're watching under the lines there for the purple under the purple. For this boss, the best advice I can offer is just keep your hots out. This is kind of the standard advice, and it's the best way to handle any boss where there's a lot of AoE healing to do. But the best thing you can do here is to keep all of your renewing mists out, that way people get a little bit of maintenance healing after the explosive brand is applied. And then after that goes off, then you can start to vivify people, or you can all collapse on the center, drop a Phaline, and then start using Spinning Crane Kick for the Awakened Phaline healing, because there is a really high volume of mobs at that point. And you can usually heal through that damage that has gone out without casting anything at all. It's kind of a similar approach to the tree boss in Academy, which has also been nerfed, and I don't think I've actually done a video on it since it's been nerfed, but it has become much more manageable and is actually very similar to this guy. On a 20, you don't need to use a defensive on every single one, but you do need to use a defensive if you have any of the trees left after you guys try to make the attempt to clear. Those will do more damage with the stomp if they were active when he finishes the cast, so that is something to keep in mind. If you have any trees up, you do need to use a defensive on a 20. Otherwise, you should be able to tank it just fine. I like to use defensives just because it is going to make my life easier. This is a pretty big pull with a lot of kicks. Normally we lust it, but we were a little bit too fast. So the Icy Bindings is something that is a high prio kick, as well as the Sleep that the Elementals cast, the Waking Bane. That is a magic dispel, but if too many of them get off, then you stand a higher chance of losing someone either to a tank mechanic or to these swirlies on the ground. Icy Bindings can be diffused, Tiger's Lusted, GG'd, as well as revivaled, so you do have something in your toolkit for that because it is AoE. You also have access to revival for the Waking Bane, which is the sleep, but typically it's not going to be getting off party wide and you can just single dispel if that's something that happens. So the fun thing about this guy is that you can pop GG and stand in his circle and be completely fine. It negates all of the damage and you will not get the debuff application either. Most of this trash is the same. Don't stand in front of the mobs with the tank unless you need to clear thundering. Watch out for swirlies, and make sure that you are getting the important kicks and purges. The Icy Bindings gets off here, but I have GG, so I am immune. The Feral Druid just shifted forms, and then I went ahead and dispelled and Tiger's Lust of the other two. Unfortunately, our tank, I believe, got hit with the Ice Cutter, and then when he reses here, he gets knocked up by a Volcanic and ends up dying again. But we're just going to go ahead and finish off the rest of the pull, kite it out. These guys are super, super low, and then we just have the one big guy left that can be kited out. Revival on that Icy Bindings because we're just trying to keep the pull alive here. And then we have our tank up again to tank the Lieutenant. This boss isn't my favorite. I don't severely hate it, but it's just kind of an annoying boss with all the ads being summoned. However, we are pretty good at this fight, mainly the intermission being the part that is important, making sure that we are having our hot spread and making sure that we are kind of building ourselves a road to get from ad to ad with our Phaline. That's going to save you a lot of heartache when it comes to your GG. You want to make sure that you have Phaline down for that, mainly because you are going to be kind of hard pressed for globals here. A lot of this is just about spreading your hots, getting Enveloping Mist and Enveloping Breath out onto as many people as you can, as well as making sure that you are extending Enveloping Mist and Renewing Mist to get that Ancient Teachings proc as well through Rising Sun Kick. So this is more just like a maintenance mini rot phase. I have done it both ways, where I follow the group versus where I just sit on one. I tend to prefer following the group, but this way I just wanted to kind of give it a shot and see which one I like more. And after that, this fight is very rinse and repeat. You just want to make sure you're getting the kicks on these images. It's super scripted. It's going to be pretty much the same every time. All you have to do is making sure that you are not getting hit by the frontal, and you will have Chi-Ji and defensives up for every intermission phase, which is where most of the damage is coming from. We are going to jump down, but I will die to fall damage. Thankfully we have a druid. You can also do this with an evoker, or if you have a priest with levitate, or a mage with slow fall, any type of fall damage reduction. You should be able to jump down onto the ring afterwards, but if not, all you need is one res class to be able to res your healer. He did try to slow fall me here, but I was not in range fast enough. So both of the monks had died, the druid is going to res us, and then we will res and pull boss. This fight is also very rinse and repeat. You just want to make sure that you are not using Chi-Ji on this first set of frost bombs because it will mess up your timings for all of the others. You will have it for every single set after she comes down from the middle from her little intermission phase, so you can Chi-Ji every first set of bombs and then just normally heal the rest after the first phase. You can be rolling out of these Frostbomb patches mainly because if you tick twice, especially on a Tyran week, it will kill you. It almost kills me on Fort, but you can roll out and avoid the tick, or you can just pop a defensive and walk out normally. I have had issues where Tiger's Lust will not get me out quickly enough. Only on Tyran I've had that issue, but also Fortified, it is just something worth knowing. It is also worth noting that Chi-Ji will not free you from the slow on these puddles. It is an anti-root, anti-snare, anti-slow, but for some reason it does not work on this ground effect specifically. And we're just going to pull this whole room and lust it. This was a very interesting route. I think that we have found a couple others since we have taken this footage that we actually like more, but this one I actually kind of liked for the lust timings and for Fortified Week specifically. This is also just Chi-Ji, spend to win, as well as the Shocking Disclosure potion for damage. There is a lot of backtracking on this route, which is why I'm kind of about it, but we have found a couple others that you'll even see in the Tyran version of this that we did in a pug, where we did a little bit of a weird route as well, but I'm a big fan of that one. If you've been around in streams while I've been in Azure Vault Prison, you understand my hatred for this boss. Typically I play with a Blood DK when I am with my team, and for some reason, I'm not quite sure what it is, when I play with Blood DK, I always have threat on the orbs on this boss. From my understanding, people have told me that it is healer threat, but tanks don't generate healer threat, so when that's all the Blood DK has, I end up with it because I'm doing the most healing outside of him. I haven't had this issue with a bear, with prot warriors, or with prot paladins, so I'm thinking it's just a Blood DK thing and the healer threat situation, but I think this boss is kind of gimmicky, and I'm generally not a fan. If I have a Blood DK, I'm going to be spending a lot of time fucking around in the middle, trying to bait the orbs away from my melee, because ultimately their damage is more important than mine, and there's not enough healing going out that I have to be in melee all of the time. I usually try to save touch for the crystals that are out in the middle of nowhere and maybe aren't getting cleaved down. Touch is a really good ability on this boss. And then for the miasma, you can revival it, you can single dispel, Tiger's Lust, and diffuse it. You don't get any damage out of diffuse, but it does get rid of the debuff. Typically, I will try to save my single dispel, my regular detox for the tank for the Dragon Strike, because that is going to be doing tank damage, and that is kind of the only thing happening on this boss, assuming people aren't standing in things. Right, and that brings us to the end of our 20 Azure Vault. You can see Ancient Teachings did about 10 mil there, over twice what Vivify did. This is a really good dungeon for Awakened Phalanx as well as Ancient Teachings, so it's just something to keep an eye on. And then when it comes to damage, Rising Sun Kick is at the top, but I definitely could have done a lot more with Spinning Crane Kick. I was just kind of playing it safe while we're learning the damage patterns, but we will be able to spec more into damage as we get further. But I hope that this video was helpful. If you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitch, Twitter, or Discord, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching!